A new bill has been put forward that seeks to amend legislation allowing for animal testing in South Africa. The bill aims to ban the practice altogether. The draft proposal seeks to amend the definition of cosmetic in the Animal Protection Act and to ban the sale and manufacturing of cosmetics that were tested on animals in or outside the country. Chairperson of Beauty Without Cruelty, Toni Brockhoven, joins us via Zoom. Good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for coming through.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, let's start with the historical factor here on cosmetics and animal testing. How did the idea come about to start with animals first?
Oh, that goes back many years. And initially, it was also about the fact that to stop litigation, particularly in the States, the United States, where if anything went wrong, somebody could simply say, well, we did tests on animals and something was proven to be safe. However, science has shown over and over again, this does not work. And using animals as a model for humans is a very poor practice indeed, simply because we don't react in the same way from species to species. And in fact, we don't even react in the same way from males to females within our own species. While cosmetic testing doesn't occur in South Africa, according to all the information that we've been able to glean, what we would like to see is that, like New Zealand, which also doesn't do animal testing for cosmetics within the country, is for government to say this is unacceptable, this is old-fashioned. There are modern available techniques available that are far more efficient, far more practical, far more cost-effective and reliable, which is the most important thing. And to say this is what we stand for. We do not need blister, blind or poison animals in order to have shiny hair or clean teeth, or for underarm deodorant or clean dishes and that sort of thing. And that's a really important point, because I don't think that people understand that almost everything has been animal tested at some point. We can't change what's happened in the past, but we can certainly affect how we move forward. And the mere fact is that there are thousands of ingredients which we know are safe for human use. And there will obviously still be loopholes, but we can start with that. Okay,
so then just draw parallels for us here. Which animals are being used for testing, and in as far as research and development, what is the objective in as far as skin testing is concerned for humans?
They usually use rodents, and those rodents tend to form the bulk of animal species used, but no species is really exempt. So, dogs have been used, cats have been used, rabbits have been used, assorted small rodents like rats and mice. Fish have been used and birds have been used. Those are all for medical research things. And regardless of what the specifics are, whether it is specifically for cosmetics, and I just want to clarify that cosmetics is anything that is applied to the body. So regardless of whether that is for men, women, or children, anything that is applied to the body is considered a cosmetic. And then, of course, household cleaners. Usually it's rodents. The thing is that we don't need to use them because there are excellent animal-free models available which are cost-effective and reliable, and give us a more accurate rendition of what we're supposed to see. So, for example, with a skin skin reaction test, what they would do is they would abrade. In other words, they would remove the hair, usually using something like a tape which pulls the hair out. And you do this until the skin is raw, and then you usually add very often a concentrated dose of the final product or the final ingredient to the skin to see what happens. But as we know, and as science has shown, we don't react in the same way. So, for example, when we get shampoo into our eyes will water, they will tear, and they will flush anything out. when you're using rabbits have no tear ducts. They cannot flush it out. They also have a different physiology to the human eye. Rabbits, for example, have been known to literally break their backs trying to escape the pain because they are kept in stocks, which hold them in place. It's completely and utterly unnecessary. And here's the thing. Animal testing for cosmetics has already been banned in the EU and BRICS countries like India and Brazil. South Africa should be the first country on the African continent to say, let's move forward. Let's move into the modern world where we can ensure that things are safe for human use without causing suffering and death to non-humans.
Okay, so Toni, let me come in there. Let me come in there, Toni, in as far as skin testing is concerned. One would then look at the dichotomy between cosmetic and serious skin ailments. Other people are very ill because they've got skin conditions. So they wouldn't want to have products that are necessarily going to exacerbate their skin problems and conditions. On the other hand, there are other people who would want to use skin products for beauty and anti-aging as well as bleaching is concerned. So then how do you tap in your argument in as far as the benefits of skin testing and trying to strike a balance between using animals without harming them, but doing research on them and getting the desired results?
Well, it's really quite simple. Already a number of methods available that do not use animals. So there are computer simulations, there's cell and tissue cultures that can be used. There's microdosing, where you use the tiniest fraction of an amount, but again, you would use cell and tissue cultures. So you're not using any living being. And as I say, there are already thousands upon thousands of ingredients that have already been proven safe for use. So continuing to do this is all about ensuring, in inverted commas, that there's no possible legal ramifications. And there's also a difference between medical research and cosmetic research. We don't need to use animals for medical research either. And there are people way more qualified and wiser than I, for example, Ray Greek and the Physicians for Responsible Medicine, who are trained in medicine and science. And they themselves say using animals results in a retardation of medical progress. While animals suffer, we are slowing down progress for human safety and medicines which will benefit humans. In fact, I can tell you that, for example, most of the leaps forward in terms of AIDS research has come about through in vitro testing, in other words, not in vivo, not using animals. The progress has been made using non-animal methods, and the researchers themselves will be able to verify this. So it's not about saying, well, we need to do this because it will benefit humans. The point is that using animals wastes time. It wastes human lives because humans continue to suffer while we are wasting time messing about with animals. And various species react differently to each other. And then, of course, over 90% of, for example, medicines don't ever reach clinical trials in humans because once they've passed the animal test, once they get to possible human trials, we realize that they cannot be used because we don't react in the same way. Over and above that, there's also the situation where human diseases are, as a matter of genetics, lifestyle, history, diet, and other factors, including age, you're taking young, healthy animals and imposing a disease onto them or an illness onto them to see whether we can make changes. So right in the beginning, your models are wrong. Because
just on that point,
Toni, has developed in humans over years,
so Toni, on that
cannot
point,
be extrapolated to animals which have been given a disease.
All right, so Toni, take us through that argument against the imposition of certain ailments on healthy animals to experiment on human conditions. So in as far as the argument by your movement and the pushback, or shall I say the defense of pharmaceutical companies in their research and development, what is their argument? Are they cooperating on this, or is there a holdback?
I think I need to clarify that the bill to ban cosmetic testing in South Africa using animals has got no bearing on the pharmaceutical and the medical industry. There are two entirely separate scenarios. Right now, we are focusing on the ban of cosmetics testing using animals. So I don't want to talk about the medical side of things, simply because that is actually not in the equation right now. And legislation is going to take a very long time before the vested interests will move away from animal use to modern methods. But what we can do right now is push for the ban of cosmetics testing, because A, no jobs will be lost. In fact, on the contrary, countries that have banned cosmetics testing on animals have seen small industries thriving when it comes to cosmetics and personal care and grooming. So that is a good thing, which we desperately need. And Steve Swart, who's a member of Parliament, has legislated this private member's bill, which really there should be no argument against it. It doesn't impact on humans. It's not going to lose any jobs. On the contrary, it's going to create stronger cosmetic environment and industry. We're not doing cosmetic testing in South Africa. So all decent humans with a shred of conscience should say, we need to say no to cosmetics animal testing. We need to move forward and insist that modern methods are used, which are available. And most of the things that we use these days most ingredients are very often imported. The point is, again, there are literally thousands of ingredients that have been shown to be safe for human use. There is no need to test them again. And I think it's a really important point. But I do want to stress that there's a big difference between the cosmetics testing using animals and pharmaceutical and medical research. Mm-hmm. That is a conversation for another day. The cosmetics testing bill is what is currently before the portfolio committee, and that is what we are looking to have passed.
All right. Thank you so much for clarifying that. And if it's a topic for another day, I wish we had time so that we can actually add on to our discussion regarding organic cosmetic products. But we will talk about it in our next encounter. Thank you so much for your time.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, you're most welcome. Toni Brockhoven is one of the leaders in the organizations that are propagating for the ban of the word cosmetic in as far as animal testing. And of course, that's the organization called Beauty Without Cruelty.